Okay, I see we are live on YouTube. Are we live on D-Stream? Live? Yes, we are. Okay, I see we are live on Alright, I just have to mute things. Good morning, all. Well, this will get smoother soon. This is our second day of simulcasting across this wonderful land of ours. And, yeah. Hi! Happy Friday, episode 85, To Bend the Knee. Friends, I would like to start with a quick look at, actually I thought I was going to start with a quick look at a hummingbird, but he got shy on me, so let me switch that back. I would like to start with a quick review, if I may. Some of you have heard this before, but I don't think that you will mind because it will not take that long. I'd like to discuss the energy fields of the body. Before I go into this, though, many of you ask me questions. You're like, James, what system is it that you're using? This system of energy field that you have specified. What is that system? So I can look it up. And I admire your tenacity, but you're really missing the whole point. The system that I'm using is not a system. It's not something that is out of a book. It's just intuitively sensed. All I'm done is just say, how do my energy fields work? And I just slowly built different ones. It just happened to be there 7. It could be that some of you may reject 1 or 2. Some of you may want to add 4 or 5. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make me wrong. It doesn't make you wrong. This is just how we tangibly touch our life. And we're taught through regurgitation that we have to memorize something before we understand it. But this is a different kind of understanding. This is a intuitive understanding. It's a using your gut. My gut told me there were probably 7, and it turned out there were. Now, you can judge that gut as you see fit. Is it accurate, or is it wanton, or is it desirous? All these are different caverns we enter into as we navigate our own belief. But that's why I've been saying we really need to back away from this idea of knowing, because the more you look at what knowing is, the more you understand. It's a petrified form of belief. Logos is not outside you. I'm sorry, Logos is not outside you. Logos is found inside you. Logos permeates matter. It goes beyond matter. That's why you can't find it outside of you. You are the closest link to Logos anywhere. And it only happens by you being fully seated in your pelvis. Your pelvis is a throne. Sit your ass in your throne. Put your buns in the pelvis. Sit down, right? Put your crown on. Seat your skull as a crown, fully seated on your head. Stretch the end of your fingers into the gloves of your monarchy of your body. Stretch them deep into the tips of your fingers and your toes. Put your body as deep inside yourself as you can. Grab the cockpit of your adrenals. Grab your gonads like a fucking cockpit. Like a stick in a cockpit, right? And hold on, man. Be your adrenals. Be your endocrine system. The deeper you go inside yourself, immersing yourself in self-fullness, a word that no one teaches you, self-fullness, the closer you will ever be to Logos. Why? Because Logos is as much of an understanding as it is a feeling. One feels close to the Logos. It feels right. It feels this feels wrong to me, this feels wrong to me, this feels right. This feels right. That's as close as you're going to get to the Logos. It's not going to come through me. It's not going to come through Trump. It's not going to come through school. It's not going to come through anywhere else. But you. And that's why you have to seat yourself so deeply in your body. Hey, buddy, there's a fly. So, we're going to do a quick review. First, I'm going to say hi to chat. Hi, chat. How's everybody? No one seems to be saying they can't hear me. That's fantastic. Hi, Lane Lashak. I see you there. Gaia Bear. Glad you made it today. Blue Dog, Leonard DeGriff. A lot of wrenches. I'm lacking some wrenches. I will get around to that. And over here on D-Live, are there people in D-Live listening? There's 85 people listening in D-Live. That's great. Hi, Laura Bear. Hi, H-Ream, Shiva. Great to see you guys. Butts and seats. That's right. Rooster Ninja. Posture. I could have better posture. Thank you, Rooster Ninja. Thanks, guys, for joining me on D-Live and on on what do you call this platform? YouTube. That's right. YouTube. That's what you call it. Oh, we almost have 333 viewers, and we already got a super chat. Happy Friday from Danger Bear. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get cooking. Right? Let's review. Let's review. Your body has 7 protective electrical layers. 7 of them. And these 7 layers can be weak or strong. They can have holes or not holes. You can use Carillion photography. You can use auric field photography. And you can actually sense and see where there are holes in someone's ego, in someone's aura. The more holes you have in your aura, the more susceptible you are to sickness, stress, and even wearing masks. Even like doing really stupid things, okay? These 7 fields quickly, so we can get to the lesson, so we can get to the unlearning today. That very first field is your elemental field. You've been taught from a very young age that your elemental field is really the only thing real. If you were in a crowd of people and you were to feel crammed into a subway in a crowd of people, you would feel the elemental fields of everyone around you. It is the primary electrical field. If someone was about to touch you but not touching you, like I'm talking about a millimeter or 2 millimeters away from them, you would feel that. Your elemental field would actually be perturbed before your skin actually would. Before the hairs on the end of your... In fact, you could argue that the hairs extending from your skin are, in fact, that elemental field, the cilia, right? Think of your body as a cell, and those things on top are the cilia.
Ain't nothing no silly about me. I'm a hummingbird, man. I've been drinking some sugar juice. This is some good juice. I like this juice right here. Yeah, baby. This is some good juice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to keep drinking. Maybe you should just talk, because I'm going to be here a while. I sort of have a drinking problem. Well, that's just the way it goes.
All right. So the next field, the sexual field. You feel this field further away from your body. It stretches out from your body. You can actually feel this through attraction. You feel sexually attracted to someone. Sometimes something, but someone. Typically, these feelings permeate reason, they permeate logic, they permeate everything else except for this actual attractive field. You could be attracted to the wrong person. You could be attracted to the right person. You could be attracted to someone when you shouldn't be attracted to someone. This is a different electrical field. Some of us have control over this electrical field, some of us don't. Many of us have giant holes in this electrical field. We are susceptible to sexual addiction. You guys know who I'm talking to. That's right. I was one of those. I'm very sexually addicted. Holy cow. Women are freaking amazing. How could you not be? It's truly stunning species. The sexual field is a very powerful one. The third field is the emotional field. You can be attracted to someone and not have an emotional connection to them. You can have an emotional connection to someone and not have a sexual attraction to them. So you can be repelled and pulled by 2 different fields inside your body and inside someone else's body. You start to see that these are subtle fields. They allow certain things to come in, they have certain attractions for certain things, and they repel other things. And sometimes we don't get to control what those things are. At this level, at this base root level, I think you're mostly dealing with smell, olfactory smell. This sense comes in, it's just a small patch inside your nose that does all this chemical analysis for you. And it's so complex that it doesn't even make it to your neocortex. It's your limbic system. If anything, you could use these base fields as an analysis of your limbic system. All right, I'm going to suggest that you consider the base 3 electrical fields as the trivium. That's right. This is a matter of math, geometry, of the world of numbers. Okay. Now, as these fields grow, as these fields grow, you begin to enter the quadrivium, and now you've entered your egoic field. This is the field that we're taught to hate. This is the most dangerous field that people who want to control you fear. They fear your egoic field. It's why the ego is shamed more than anything else in the world. It's why they tell you to hate the ego. They do not want you to begin your quadrivium. If they can keep you in your trivium, in your base 3, You are so easily manipulable, it's ridiculous. And we see this around us all the time. All the time. Without this egoic field, you are a passenger to the whims of zeitgeist. You are a passenger to that, and you end up doing things, doing terrible, terrible things. Horrible, horrible things. And the entire time you don't know why. The entire time you can't understand. You only remain on these three base levels, because any attempt to try and go higher, you're thwarted, you're subdued, and you're muted, and you agree. All right? Now, it's raining right now. Some of you guys might complain about the noise. That's fine. Just here, there's really not a damn thing I can do about it. So we're going to go ahead and keep moving on there as we move through this. Sorry, guys. Find this. These, after the egoic field, I need to get better at popping back and forth. Now you have your casual field, all right? How the world actually knows you, all right? You can see by this hummingbird that he's very casual, but a little bit nervous. He's coming in and pulling out, coming in and pulling out. He'd rather not really rest there, right? I'm too close to them. You can see that his casual field is giving off data for you. It's showing you his prana economy. His economy is, I want that sugar water. But his concerns are, I'm worried that I might get caught. His casual field is giving away his inner core. And if you have compassion, not consent, you can see all these fields in someone. You can see where their sexual field is. I might be talking to a beautiful woman who's playing with her hair. That may be a clue for me. May not be, but still. I can have an emotional aversion to someone coming to a party. That's giving me a clue about how I feel. I can watch people bend the knee and embrace humility as if it was a sign of what a good person they are. And you can see how someone can turn their electrical fields around and invert them and actually hate them. You could see that someone could be taught to hate their egoic field. And once that egoic field is broken, their casual field will show that in all of their actions. And finally, if it congeals long enough, that person will evacuate themselves so far that they become procedure, that they become a uniform. And next thing you know, their entire field is surrounded by another field, a foreign field that was installed by another person, whether that be a police department, whether that be a government, whether that be a coalition. We can all see that field and just how much it's willing to change someone's behavior.
Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Any other names, members wish?
I don't know how.
Sean Bell, Jordan Davis.
Let's show that again.
Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Any other names, members wish?
Sean Bell, Jordan Davis.
So what you're seeing is the slavery of their task field and their casual field. These people have said, my task field and my ego field are not important. And I will shed them by any means necessary. As long as there's a hunger for it, as long as I can find a prana economy out there of someone who's willing to make this transaction for me. Is there someone out there who's willing? Is there someone out there who's willing to buy my ego? And if so, would you like to dress me in a mask? Would you like to dress me in a scarf that shows my virtue? Would you like to dress my behavior so that I bow and bend the knee for your acceptance? And if you have enough compassion, you can see these rituals and see what they are. I'd like for you to watch the lady behind Pelosi. I'd like you to realize that during a ceremony of deep homage and respect, she's holding her cell phone and her car keys the entire time.
Eric Garner, Trayvon
See her
Martin.
right there to the left?
Any other names members wish?
Sean Bell. Jordan Davis.
This is how deeply she's moved. See her swaying? Now she's like, oh, someone's going to look up my dress. Oh, shit. Oh, no. And there they go. There they go. Still got her keys in her phone. That's how deep the ritual is for her. That's how much it means for her. How do I look? Do I look like I better put my head down again. Yeah, I'm looking good, says Camo. I am fucking owning this.
You see how long it was to have
To have no ego. This has been taught to you since you were a little boy and little girl. Most of us don't even have an ancestor field anymore or connection to God. We're living in this psychotropic state. Psychotropic meaning that the society around us is the inhibitor, stopping us from sitting ourselves deeply. And when you're not seated deeply in your pelvis, you're going to take a knee. And you're going to think it's a good thing. You're going to think, yeah, man, this was all worth it. And before you know it, you'll end up a lot worse. Here's what's bothering me. What I'm about to show you, I would like for you to use as a rallying cry, please. The Fullerton School District. On Monday, district employees worked on staging and filming return to school videos to communicate to families what to expect for fall 2020. Here are a few moments we captured that we want to share with you. And you could see a picture of the kids lining up for the bus, 6 feet apart. The cafeteria is now muzzled with the COVID stuff. People are waiting to go in the bathroom as a teacher directs them, saying that only 3 people are allowed in each time. They're 6 feet apart. There's masks required inside the bathroom. Sanitation, who knows what the hell those chemicals are that need to be washed all over your fingers. Washing stations. And here's a panda gun shooting your temperature to see if you're safe. Here's a tent, ear checking. Plastic water in plastic bottles is totally good, by the way, according to this. Here's a screening, camera screening. New high-tech stuff coming in there. Here's children on their way to frolic in the school. Single file lines following the blue line, 6 feet apart. Here's a teacher steam cleaning the seats. Dirty kids. And there's sanitizer on the bus now. Kid wearing a mask. Hold it right there. Shooting her in the temple. And the sit here. That's great. 1 child per seat. And the teacher's got a sneeze guard on as she's driving. And that's how you take a knee for Babylon. And this is what's coming. And I am begging you. I don't have kids. Some of you do. I'm begging you. Please don't send your kids to school. Please don't send your children to school in the fall. You will not get them back. You will not. Even if they survive this ritual every day, they will never forgive you. They won't even know that they don't forgive you. They won't even know. I realize, God, this has got to sound harsh. And some of you guys are probably like, how fucking dare you? And you're right, because I don't have kids. Don't send your kids back there. Please don't. It's going to make this so much harder. Sending your kids back to school this fall is really the same as going out and admitting white privilege and saying, yeah, I'm a racist. You're entering this shame pay it forward system where it'll be easier on you to save calories. And I don't fault you for that. There's a lot to try and save calories on right now. That's not the part I'm faulting you on. I'm not even faulting you. I'm pleading with you. I'm not faulting you. You're going to make the decisions that you think is best for your family. You're going to do that better than I am. But please don't send them to school in the fall. Please. I'm trying to make that as expensive as possible, as I can, from someone who's outside who has no right to tell you what to do. It's going to make it harder on all of us. It's going to turn more, right? More of this. Where everyone's just laying down because they're told to. Right? Churches, governments, socials, schools, right? Activism, government, emotional virtue signaling, dying to fit in, dying to be accepted, dying to be cleansed. They want salvation. Even the people in charge of truth, right? The UN, Congress, everyone, even the black people that are saying it's everyone has failed us. Everyone has failed us. Cops, lawyers, nurses, doctors, politicians, baby boomers, your parents, my generation. Anyone who's in charge right now has failed you. All of them have, because they wanted to save calories and they wanted to feel good. And that's not wrong. They wanted to feel less shame. And so they took a knee. All of them took a knee. And this Amway scheme is very, very addictive. It's addictive because so many of us don't have these outer layers. We're stuck way down here where we've got these massive holes in our system because we've been taught that way. And we swear this is the right thing, even though it feels wrong. Even though it feels wrong, we insist it's got to be the right thing. And we're just doing our best to do the right thing. If you want to know what evil looks like, it's all compliance. All of it is compliance. And the reason why you don't see it is because you think evil is a certain way. You think evil has teeth dripping with brevity, sharp fangs, pincers, red pulsing skin, maniacal laughter with a tail. That's what you think it is. And it's never that. It's people trying to fit in. It's people just trying to do the right thing. That's what evil is. It's the evacuation. And there's a reason why the people who evacuated first all wear uniforms. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason why so many people are just desperate to lay down and join in. Because they hate themselves. They have shame about who they are. And most importantly, they fear the sovereignty that's required to have that kind of vigilance over themselves for that long. It's just too expensive. They don't want to do it. They've been told they're not capable of doing that. And they don't have enough ego to spend, because they think ego's a bad word. They don't have enough ego to spend to figure out if maybe everything they've been told is a lie. That requires a lot of calories to think that. To stare in the face at all the CGI that they tell you about satellites and say, I think that's a lie, that requires a ton of calories. To look at vaccines and say this is bullshit requires a ton of calories. It requires an electrical capacitor surrounding your body that you can tap into, bleak, 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 and power the fuck up. This is how you bend the knee. You get rid of this, you get rid of task, you get rid of casual, and you get rid of ego. Now you're led emotionally. Blind empathy. We've talked about this word, right? Blind empathy. Empathy with no calories. Empathy with no compassion. Empathy with no discernment. Just the outward expression of empathy. And it puts us on our belly like this guy. God, I feel sorry for this guy. I feel sorry for Webster Police. The reason why I feel sorry for Webster Police is because if there's ever going to still be a Webster, Massachusetts, every single criminal who lives in that city, who lives in that town, who sees a cop, is going to think that they're a pussy. Excuse my language. The first rule of being a cop is psychology. You cannot bend the knee. The answer is simple. I'm sorry, I cannot bend the knee. I'm sorry, my job prohibits me from bending the knee. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that request. I can't do it. You cannot compromise on that. And we cannot compromise on what happens to our kids, because when we lose these kids, when this shit sets in, when these people grow up, when these kids right here grow up, we are fucked. We are. This will change the entire vibration of that person. They will no longer have a chakra. They will no longer have a field. Why do you think it's so easy for this generation to have gender dysphoria? To have identity dysphoria? It's because that's how pliable our fields are now under this system. Watch what happens to the mayor when BLM can just, all they have to do is talk him into wearing a mask. Once this guy, this mayor, wears a mask, you see he's their bitch.
Jacob Fry, we have a yes or no question for you. Yes or no, will you commit to defunding Minneapolis Police Department? What did I say? We don't want no more police. Is that clear? We don't want people with guns toting around in our community, shooting us down. You have an answer? It is a yes or a no. It is a yes or a no. Will you defund the Minneapolis Police Department? All right, be quiet, y'all. Be quiet, because it's important that we actually hear this. It's important that we hear this, because if y'all don't know, he's up for re-election next year. He's up for re-election next year. And if he says no, guess what the we gonna do next year? Louder, one more time. Loud and clear. Louder. Yeah. All right. Hey! Don't waste our time. Get out of here.
Now, I got to give it up for this guy, because he actually has more balls than most do. He really does. And, you can watch his energy, watch the way he's standing, watch the way he's holding himself. But please consider how much pressure he's under right there. Please consider he's surrounded by a mob. But he's already wearing a mask. He's already said, I'm your bitch. I'm serious. He's already told everyone, hey, I'm a bitch too. And that's what allowed him to be invited to this rally, was the mask. And that appeasement is not an appeasement. That's a shedding of aura. He shedded his ego. I just want you to emotionally like me, that's all. This has nothing to do with me wanting to do what's right inside. I just want you guys to like me. And seriously, I give him props. I give him props for how he handled himself, all things considered. That's a young guy who thinks that appeasement is maybe part of the art of war, part of the art of finding your moral center. See, this guy has a different electrical field, right? He's like, I ain't scared. I'll sit here and drink all I want. I know that guy down there. He ain't gonna do nothing to me. Plus, I'm thirsty.
Jacob Fry, we have a yes or no question for you. Yes or no, will you commit to defunding Minneapolis Police Department?
Notice that the lady talking is the only one who doesn't have to wear a mask. Everyone else does. Yet she's the one with the bullhorn. She's the one talking. She's the one in charge. You know who's in charge by watching this stuff. But he caved. And he was probably stronger than the average person. I think so. I think he's actually probably stronger than the average. I'm talking about Babylon person. All right? Most of those people aren't even watching this stream. You guys know that. The Babylon people are not watching this stream. And I know that's true because we ended up with this. There's a guy with a cart. I love it. He's got a cart. This is what happens when you abandon your pelvis, if your pelvis is a town, is a city. If you abandon your pelvis to who? If you abandon your pelvis to the National Guard, if you abandon your pelvis to any kind of federal state agency, you're wearing the mask. You have to, because you've already abandoned to it. As a city, just like as a person, as a city, each town gave its ego a long time ago. Each town didn't want to be sued. They didn't want to be in trouble for not pushing the COVID, whatever it is. So they were willing to dump all of this. What is my task? We're now in charge of sealing off the city for COVID. What is my casual? We're now in a state of emergency. Where's my ego? There's not here because Black Lives Matter. Because we have to stop the COVID. God hasn't been here for a long time. All of this is a city of emotion now. All of us are being run by that emotional appeal. And when you run an emotional appeal, it's very easy to run a city. If you run a tribe of snakes, are very easy, right? What does the reptilian mind do? It fears novelty. That means if you do something slow enough, it has no problem with it at all. There's no morality. Secondly, if it is novel, it only determines, is that a threat to me? Reptiles don't look at the whole pack and say, are you going to come in here and kill all my brethren? They don't have enough calories for that. They're cold-blooded. They're not burning the calories simulating what it would be like if I let this happen. So, all government has to do is move slow. All government has to do is be non-discriminatory. So someone doesn't feel like they are being singled out. Right? I hope you guys can still hear me. Let me know if you can't. I don't know what I'd do if you can't, though, actually. It'd take a lot of time to close everything up. I'm going to keep going. So we appeased him. We became an emotional country. And it spread. We became so emotional we burnt down a Wendy's in Atlanta. We became so emotional we took over a police department. Correction. We were given a police department so we could be emotional in one spot. And we took it. And because we have no ego, as a city and as a person, because we have no ego, we are obsessed with self. Because we have no ego, we are obsessed with self. Look at everyone getting selfies in front of the fire. This is all about selfies. This is all about lack of ego. Our city has no ego, we have no ego. I want ego. Take my picture. I burnt this place down. It's so hard because we've been taught the wrong thing about ego. We've been taught that it's one thing when it's the other. Everything's backwards in Babylon. And when the smoke clears, all we have is the emotion. All we have is the emotion that we were willing to blur and spin. And all of this happened, guys, all of this happened because we lost our emotional field. It started up here with ancestors. Once you lose that outer coating, everything slips. Everything falls away. Because that mayor said no, because he showed that he had more ego than anyone else did, he got a shame walk. They walked him right out of town. And once you do that, I'm going to try and walk in here because I can barely hear myself. It's like everything you saw in Game of Thrones is happening in real time. Because everything you do is predictable when you're a limbic system. When you're a reptile, they can predict everything you do. It's not because they're smarter. It's because they didn't back down. It's because they never once would give up their ego. They never once would abandon their electrical field just to appease a mob. It's vaccines, racism, xenophobia, white guilt, supremacy, sin. All the blueprints of mind control start with a pinprick, with just a little penetration. Let me inject this inside you. Let me inject this idea that you're sinful. Let me inject this adjuvant inside you. Let me inject the idea that ego is evil. Let me inject the idea that the only person who's qualified to educate your children is the fucking government. All it takes is just a tiny, tiny, tiny pinprick. And they will take everything. They will take everything from you. Evil is not a hunger. It seems like it is, but a hunger is passion. Evil is an evacuated vortex. It's a black hole. It's not hungry. It's maniacal. It will only feel better if everything around it is destroyed. That's the only way it's going to feel better. That's why everything's burning in Babylon land. Because it has to. It's the only way everyone will be equal. How does everyone get equal? Everyone has to lay down and put a mask on. This is what equality is. This is the definition of equality. Now, I'd like you to use some calories right now and think back. Who was the first person to bend a knee? Who was the very first archetypal leader, meaning someone that you would see in the zeitgeist and not be able to avoid? Who was the very first one who bent the knee? It's this guy, Colin Kaepernick.
All eyes were on 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, flanked by two of his teammates here. You can see he took a knee.
And when you
during the
look back
national
and you
anthem.
find
This is
when
part
he
of the
bent the knee, you'll see that the media just happened to be focused on him that day when he came out and decided to take a knee. They just happened to be focused on him during practice, not a game, when he wore blue socks with a pig, right? The anti-cop socks that he wore. And it was a national event. And there was a huge war between Trump and the NFL taking a knee. And if you look around right now, that's all we've done. Everyone. This is how powerful black magic is. This is how powerful black wizards are. And none of these people have to say, I support black wizardry. They don't have to. Because there's a prana economy. The ritual is there. The Masonic ritual. Yes, Masonic ritual. Marty even would accept this. The Masonic ritual is there. People still worship Baal Balan. Baal Balan. And I know you don't know it because some of us are used to, no, he only worships it if he gets up and says, I worship you, Baal Balan. And that's not how prana works, is it? If it did, then it would work to say, oh, because Black Lives Matter, I'm going to lay down on my fucking ass right now and stick my hands behind my back with a mask over my face. Literally suffocate myself for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And all of us are going to do it. Because we don't have an ego. We don't have a field. We'll just shame everybody, right? Look at this. Do you honestly think that the people who put this in play didn't have a bet going on with themselves that they can make a bunch of people do a shame walk like in Game of Thrones? Do you honestly think that no one had that thought? that when Colin Kaepernick and Trump and everyone else started playing this game about kneeling or not kneeling, this is how two boats point their apex at the same spot, and you narrow people into that one tunnel. You create your Amway spiral of fucking shame. Amway. Pyramid scheme. Right?
Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Any other names? Members
I'm gonna
wish.
do the Sean Bell, Jordan Davis, Freddie Gray.
What we need is some black corpses. What we're going to need is a someone that can be bought, a high profile somebody, I don't know, actor, athlete, whatever. We need to run this psyop. We're going to need some black bodies. We're going to need some dead people. It's no problem. You don't even have to consciously plan this anymore. You don't. All it takes is one congressman saying, oh, no, we're going to convict that cop for shooting that guy because he didn't have the right to. Hey, man, if someone comes after you with a taser gun, that doesn't mean they're trying to hurt you. All it takes is just a phone call. All it takes is just one little word. And when you're living in this dissonant system where nobody has ego, and anyone who does have ego is flogged for it constantly, day after day after day, this is all predictable. Why? Because it's reptiles. You could predict a reptile. You always know where the reptile's going to go. This is why I get upset when people tell me, oh, it's because we're so clever. The elite just can't hold us down because they haven't caught us yet. Because we're just so smart. And we're so resilient. And if we were smart and resilient, there would be one city. Not 5. There'd be one city that was just nuts. And every other city would be looking at that city going, Seattle, you're a fucking dumbass. What the fuck's wrong with you? Holy shit. God, I'm never doing that. That's what it would be. And they never would have hired that mayor, and they never would have hired that cop. Never would have had that role. Because they would have been like, dude, this cop's a pussy. We need someone who's better. We need a man. We need a man who, when out in the field, would never think, hey, this seems like a good idea. I'm going to lay down on my belly right now and show every single criminal that ever comes in this town that all you got to do is pull this. All you got to do is pull the race card. All you got to do is do whatever you want, because these guys are fucking pussies. All it takes to get them to bow down is blue socks with pigs on it, an NFL ceremony, and some dead martyrs. There's not even stats to back it up. You guys have seen the numbers. All of this. Trump tweeting law and order 4 or 5 times. Saying this, the irony of this today. The silent majority is stronger than ever before. That's what Trump says. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. The silent majority is stronger than ever before. No truer words have been spoken. I could not agree more. The silent majority is definitely stronger than ever. And that's why I'm telling you guys, please hear this in the spirit in which it's meant. No one is coming to save you. Nurses aren't going to save you. You saw what happened. They danced instead. Doctors aren't going to save you. They've been sticking too many vaccines in your kids to feel bad now. They're gone. Cops aren't going to save you. They're going to lay down on their fucking belly. And they should. They should quit. The ones that have quit, they should quit. Because it's fucking nuts to try and be a cop in all this. To be told that you have to act like Jesus 24/7. Excuse me, sorry. Politicians can't save you. Not that you ever thought they would or could. Schools can't save you. Look at what they're going to do with your kids. You can save you. You can win this. You can have the best apocalypse ever. You already are. Some of you already are. And you're going to have to stop worshiping Baal Balan. It has to end. You can't send your children there. They will get eaten alive. It will be hard. And you're going to find you're going to persevere because you're going to find other people that see how hard it is and they want to do it too. Like Lori, who just started the homeschool with 3 other families to be a teacher. You're going to find a way to survive, and you're going to find a way to flourish. I know homeschool people that run programs that have been doing this a lot longer before Babylon got this bad. You will thrive. Your kids will frickin' love it. They will love it. And it will be hard. It will burn calories. Your life will change as a result of it. And do it. Do it, because we need those kids sat deep in their pelvis. Like a tractor seat, just sitting so deep in that pelvis they cannot come out. It doesn't matter what dissonance, what lies, what guilt, what bullshit, what psyop, what virus. Nothing will shake those children out of their pelvis because we raised them in the fucking soil. We said, take off your shoes, son. Stick them in the dirt because it's time for school. Son, you have 7 chakras, not 1. Your outer shell is your ancestor. That's your genetic line. That's God. That's where you came from. Son, your 6th field is your task field, how you handle yourself. Are you confident when you swing an axe? Do you know how to swing an axe? The 5th field, son, is the casual field. How calm are you in a crowd of other people? How steady are you in the dissonance? Can you be a lighthouse for mankind? Your egoic field, son, this is your ego. You will love that thing. It is your heart pumping. It is your blood. It is 3 trillion blood cells saying, I fucking am. You will not shit on that thing. You will not shame that thing. That is your reputation. That is your pride. That is your generosity. That is what makes you a good person. And I don't even have to keep going because emotions work themselves out. When you love yourself, your emotions are perfect. They're telepathy. We have a lot to do. Excuse me. We have a lot to do. And it's happening. We're doing great. We are. It doesn't matter how much they try and trip us up. There are people out there firmly seated in their pelvis right now. And they're kicking ass. And you're one of them. Like this guy.
This the setup.
They put them there on purpose,
Y'all know
bro.
where we at.
They gonna set them right up on the rail.
Y'all know what building this is
Come
right
on
here.
now.
I ain't even gonna say what name it is.
Hey, where do them bricks go to? Where do them
This
bricks
is
go
set
to?
up.
Where do them
We
bricks
gotta
go
do
to?
better.
Ain't no damn
We gotta do better.
Ain't no damn construction around here.
I see.
Ain't no damn construction around here. You just gonna set a pile of bricks right there. Oh, okay.
Listen, I did jury duty 3 months ago. Y'all don't keep no bricks right there. Do better. This right.
Have you noticed this? I'm about to say something pretty racist. I've noticed that most of the time the heroes that I'm seeing that are out there doing the good deeds are black. They're inner city. They're people that have had a day-to-day exposure of requiring more calories. They're people that have not been so dependent on Babylon. They see through it automatically because they don't buy into these upper chakra games. They've known a long time ago how crucial ego is. They've known a long time ago how crucial all those fields are for protection. And when you see these guys, you don't even know it unless you're paying attention. You don't actually understand the subtle confidence that exudes from a man who's fully seated in his pelvis. But they're there. They're everywhere. Even in the middle of a war zone, they're there. Like this guy. You see that guy? Watch him again. The guy on the phone. He doesn't even flinch. One more time. Doesn't even flinch. Smiling. Confident. Ego terrifies the fuck out of people who are trying to turn you into reptiles. Ego is the door to the quadrivium. It's the first step in what makes you human and takes you out of limbic slavery. And there are lessons here for us. That we are surrounded by giants right now. People that are showing you every day, we can fucking win this. We can do better. We are not sending our children back to school. No, no, no. We are not going there. And a lot of territory is gone. You're seeing territory lost in these cities that's been gone a long time. You're just seeing it finally exposed. You're seeing it inside the apocalypse. Which is how we're going to get out of this. It's how we're going to fix this, because we're slowly exposing ourselves to what's happening. It's as you expose yourself and understand, expose yourself to truth more, to logos more, as you uncover this, as you reinvigorate your ego, as you peel apart all the bullshit that you've been told about how much you need to hate yourself, how much of a sinner you are, all the blueprints of mind control, once those shed, you can begin to work on your core and develop a constitution that's unfallible. We have our work cut out for us. And I can't think of a better thing to do than plant a garden. I can't think of a better thing to do than stop participating in debt, find a way to get your children out of school, and maybe leave the city. Maybe realize that this Babylon isn't maybe the best thing for me. But that's going to take a lot of self-care. You're going to have to really love yourself if you're going to look that far ahead. You have to love yourself to think 6 months ahead and go, is this city safe? Is Babylon the best thing for me? That requires you having enough self-full love for who you are and what you're worth. Are you worth it? Are you worth that kind of care to have to spend all these calories to pull my children out of school or to move out of the city or whatever it is? I'm not saying the answer is if you move out of the city, you're fine. Okay, I'm sorry to be so simplistic. But move out of Babylon, not the city. Move out of Babylon. Pull out. Pull out. Because you'll start to notice that morality, fairness, what's right, none of that's going to matter. It already doesn't matter in Babylon. Look, guys, this is normally Sodomy month. This is normally Sodomy Pride month. Look at all the statues they're pulling down. Look at Chris Green, who suffers permanent brain damage. So they could have today, Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, be a national holiday. That's how much Black Lives Matter to these people. That's how much any life matters to these people. Do you know why they get so fucking mad when you say all lives matter? Because they don't. They don't think any of those lives matter. Pelosi had to read those names off a piece of paper. She didn't even have time to collect the other people's names. She just simply said, oh, if anyone else has got any martyrs to call out for virtue signaling, go ahead. And they did.
Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Any other names? Members wish?
Sean Bell. Jordan Davis. Freddie
Give
Gray.
me love. Alphonse Taylor.
This is evacuation. Nancy Pelosi is not an egotistical lady. She's an anti-egotistical lady.
Eric Garner,
All of them
Trayvon
are.
Martin. Any other names? Members wish?
Sean Bell. Jordan Davis.
They're retarded Lion King actors, guys.
Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin. Any other names? Members wish?
Sean Bell. Jordan Davis. Freddie
Give me
Gray.
love. Alphonse Taylor.
As you find yourself, as you seat deeply into your pelvis and your spine, as you rewrap your roots around your entire endocrine system, as you grip those fucking gonads like a joystick inside a cockpit, people around you are going to vibrate differently. They can't help it. that confidence is going to exude from you like an antenna. And the taller you are, the more confident other people are going to be. It only takes one to make a tower. It only takes one to build that antenna. A human antenna made out of bone. And if you look around this community, you will find the antennas. They're broadcasting ego. They're broadcasting self-fullness. They're broadcasting gardens. They're broadcasting get out of Babylon. They're broadcasting all the right messages. You find them, you listen to them, even though you agree with everything, you listen to them because they make your signal stronger. And it needs to be. Right now is fucking go time. Every day counts. You may not be able to see it, but every day here in Casa True Cliff House, the place where I live, every day counts. This best apocalypse ever is a daily focus. It's a passion. It's not a dread. It's a passion. I love seeing all the potential around us. I love piercing the veil as fast and as sharp as I can. I'm trying to keep up with all the others around me that are doing the same. Right? The satellite people, the Planetae Veritas, the Flat Earth people, the Owen Benjamins, all the people out there that are pushing makes me a stronger broadcaster, makes me a stronger antenna. And when I see people saying, James, you really helped me, it's like, no shit, I know. Because I'm being helped. That's why I know. It is so go time, guys. It is go time. Tomorrow, nothing but the Benjamins. All about the Benjamins. I don't know what I'm going to call it. But I have the honor of bringing you a conversation with Owen Benjamin and Benjamin Balderson. I am so excited about that. Please tune in tomorrow if you can at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Katua time. Come check that out. Come watch Giants crush. And for those of you who complain I talk too much, tomorrow's a good episode. I'm probably just going to be sitting there going, wow, tell me more. These guys are if anyone has Babylon shaking more, it's what these two men are doing. And I am really looking forward to bringing that, and I'm grateful to both of them for allowing me that pleasure. Wow, look at these super chats. Joseph Paul, thank you, sir. Fiji Bear, thank you, sir. He's got out. Ego. If you're saying that God, not having God is ego, I'm going to really disagree with you, but I get it. A lot of people just really want to hate their ego. They've been taught that. Maybe you don't mean that, Fiji Bear, but it's a big lesson that I think is the cause of why we have so much trouble and strife, is that we've picked a portion of ourselves, a certain part of our prana, and we've said it's evil. And that it's evil to have too much gas, because that would make us generous. Anyway, thanks for the super chat. James York, let's see them demonetize this. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Wonderful gravy, guys. I hope that I didn't miss more. I know I did. Holy cow, there's a lot of chats there, super chats there. Thank you. And DeLive, I'm going to get better where I can start watching the stream better. But hey, I did a good job. We had the rain. We had everything else happen. So that's the way it is. Thank you so much for following me into live, too. That's fantastic. It's great to see the support on both sides. You guys have a great day. Remember your Alamo. Remember where your pelvis is. That pelvis is your throne. Sit in it. Right? That skull is your crown. Put it on your head. Don your metatarsals and carpals and all that other stuff, right? Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot.